goodness.
Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome, everyone, to our brand new podcast. This is the
Sis
Batch.
I forgot the name already. I forgot
We're
it.
going to take that back and redo that.
Okay.
Welcome to our new podcast called The Sis Batch with...
Oh, my name?
Yes.
I was thinking my son's long name that he gives. Singer Doctor! With Bevin
and Jasmine. We are two sisters who truly just enjoy chatting and catching up. I have a hair in my mouth as we're talking.
It's probably Bear.
It is Bear. Bear is visiting us right now. He is my sister's dog.
Border Collie.
Border Collie.
German Shepherd.
And very annoying.
Yes. No.
Ah! He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Anyway, this podcast is going to hopefully be the first of many episodes.
Bear with us as we figure out what in the world we're doing.
Because we don't have an idea of what we should be doing, but it's okay. This is a tester at the very least. Currently, we're at my sister's house. Hopefully, there'll be more content with video to come, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anywho, welcome to the Sis Batch, where we talk about whatever we want because we can.
Yes.
But we have a bunch of topics that we've written down together, and we hope to get to them very soon. But the first that we will do is something that I believe everyone should ask themselves.
Okay, we're just hopping right in there.
Don't hype me up because it's not going to be that great.
Okay.
My first and only question for you on this specific episode.
Jess.
Is that going to be your thing?
No,
Please don't make
no.
that your thing. The first and only question I have for you is, what are some things that you've been obsessed with as of late, and why?
Other than Taylor Swift, because
I
a girl's been watching every grainy live stream of the Eras tour.
As of late, I guess that counts because it's what you've been doing lately, but we'll get into Taylor Swift another time.
Okay.
I guess just know, listeners, that my sister Bevin is absolutely obsessed with Taylor Swift, and by proxy, I also like Taylor Swift.
You guys should take a drink of your favorite cold beverage whenever I mention Taylor Swift.
I think that's a great idea.
Because it will happen a lot. So fill up your Stanley Cups or your Owala. Not sponsored. Sponsor me, please.
Sponsored, but not sponsored. Thank you.
Fill them up and get ready to talk about Taylor Swift 24/7. This is now the Taylor Swift podcast. I'm just kidding. Okay.
The Sis Batch who?
What I've been obsessed with recently is Twitch streams, like having like a community with Twitch, and I've been kind of like, I started streaming my work from home co-working stream. It's very basic, but just being able to find people that are doing similar things and like getting to know people. I don't know. Well, you don't work from home anymore. So you don't have it where, like, you're by yourself for the majority of the day. That's me. So I get, like, lonely and I want to, like, talk to people and just, like, have water cooler talk.
Yeah.
Do you know what water cooler talk is?
No, but I know what you mean because I worked from home for about, 2 years?
Yeah, so water cooler talk is just, like, when you meet up with your coworkers and you're just, like...
Talking by the water cooler?
Yeah, just talking by the water cooler, catching up. That kind of stuff. So I've been doing that with people on Twitch. Follow me on twitch.tv/BevinX. One word, BevinX.
That's BEVIN.
I stream every workday from basically 9 to noon. 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. Say hello if you want. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know.
You're self-plugging yourself so much. This is not about your Twitch channel.
Hey, you said what I'm into.
Okay.
So that... But also, besides Twitch, on my spare time, I've been reading the Bridgerton series and playing a game called Palia, a cozy game called Palia. That's what I've been up to. That's what I've been really, like, obsessed with. Like, it's my whole personality right now.
That sounds about accurate. I mean, I get, and we're gonna circle back to it, but the entire water cooler talk, like missing that interaction. I did work from home
With me.
with you, but not in your home.
And then she was fired.
I was fired, but that's another story.
By me.
That's another podcast. We have to write that one down.
No hard feelings.
Nope, not at all. But I get it. I mean, after that job ended with me, I mean, I was doing the co-working streams as well when I was working from home. Mainly because I was needing that social interaction.
Yeah.
I'm more social than you. Than how you usually. Bear said yes.
Okay, he's going in his kennel. Keep talking.
Say goodbye. But I did work from home.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for 2 years. And it was actually really, really hard. I did the Twitch streaming as well. This episode is a mess, but it's okay. It's perfect.
This is why video is going to be in our future because
we can't do this. But I get it. I mean, and I've watched your streams and it's really fun. I think you're techie enough to know what a good stream looks like and how to run it.
I'm putting him outside. Okay, what have you been obsessed with, Jasmine?
Well, what I've been obsessed with is something that I wish that we could be sponsored by. This is not a sponsor, but I've actually really been obsessed with Awala water bottles. I know it's a thing. I have a tendency to like become obsessed with something for so long,
and then want everybody else to be obsessed with them too.
And that's currently what it is.
But wait. Let's pause. What do you love about? No, that's too much. That's too much like an ad. Close that door. Okay, I want to know. This is what I would Google, and I have Googled, and I never really got a concrete answer. So there's that whole Stanley Cup craze. Mm-hmm. So what makes Owala better than Stanley? Like, why do you like it better?
I like it better because it doesn't feel like I'm carrying a brick. I mean, I have one right in front of me.
As she has a huge... How many ounces is this?
This is 40 ounces.
40 ounces.
But this is the same as those massive Stanleys.
Yeah, but this doesn't have a handle.
Yeah, but the Stanley doesn't fit in my purse.
Ooh, wrong answer. It does have a handle.
It does have a handle. I mean, it's not the most ergonomic as far as holding, but it's something that I think used to really love hydro flasks. Mm-hmm. So it gives me like the hydro flask feel without...
She's a Visco girl.
I am a Visco girl, true at heart, but it's fine. But I don't know. It's just one of those things I become really obsessed with and fixated on something. And right now it's giving the gift of water bottle love. I bought one for every graduate that I know, and for my godchildren, and one for you, and
that she gave away
for someone's birthday. But then I ordered another one, the exact same one for you, which is still on its way. But you'll have that one next week. But anyway,
we'll see.
The water bottle, it's sort of...
Don't bang on the thing.
Oh. It's sort of become my personality, just like Taylor Swift is yours.
Interesting thing to hyperfixate on in a water bottle, though. Anything else? What else have you been doing? I
mean, I really have been, like, fixated on... Is it sushi? Like a fixation? Maybe I'm just craving food. I don't know.
Are you PMSing?
No, it's not PMS. It's like post-PMS.
Is it trying like new different sushis, or just like you just love sushi?
No, maybe it's rice. Maybe my Filipino is showing, and I just really want.
So what have she been up to?
Rice and water. I don't know how that happened, but I guess it's something. But I mean, aside from food. Okay. I do have really loved the Bridgerton series, but I haven't read the books. I've only watched the Netflix series, and I finished basically everything. I watched the Queen Charlotte, and I was obsessed with that one. That one was so good.
That one was really good. That's probably my favorite one, honestly.
I think it was so well written.
Did you cry?
I think I was like...
Wait, spoilers. If you haven't watched any of the Bridgerton things, please... skip ahead for a little bit until you don't hear us talking about Bridgerton.
For a little bit.
Because I'm not going to hold back any spoilers. Okay, so what did you cry for Charlotte?
No, I didn't. I knew I felt like the emotion, and I'm like, oh, that's so sad. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Not even the last episode?
Not even the last episode. You know when you're like...
Psychopath.
You want
Psychopath.
You know when you want to cry, but like your body's just like, no, we're not crying today. It was more of like, that's beautiful. What am I going to have for dinner?
Where's the rice?
Where's the rice in my water bottle?
I cried in the last episode. You know what, though? I get it. Before I had kids, I didn't cry for anything. But after I had kids, I was just weeping over everything. What was it? Okay, we're jumping everywhere, guys.
That's how this is going to be.
I cried for the second to the last episode of Young Sheldon. It was so sad. Thomas is like, are you crying? I'm all wiping my tears. No! I'm fine. Oh, I'm crying right now thinking about it. It was so sad. Good show, guys. If you like Big Bang Theory, watch Young Sheldon.
Thomas is
my husband.
Yeah, my sister's husband. So if you hear Tom, Miss Tommy...
T-Dog.
You don't call him T-Dog, but okay. We are referring to my brother-in-law or my sister's husband.
Okay. Back to Bridgerton. Okay, so you like Charlotte. I've read almost all of the books. I said that earlier already. I'm on like the second to the last book. I told you, right, about that the books are...
Very close.
They're very close to the series. Mm-hmm. Book 1 and season 1 were like pretty much identical. That's interesting. There's like a couple things that were a little bit different, but it didn't like alter the story or like the narrative at all. Mm-hmm. Book 2, the book is better. And I'm somebody that I will never go back and read a book after watching the series. It's worth reading the book.
I see.
I don't know. Do you want spoilers?
I mean, I guess this whole episode comes with a spoiler. Maybe we can put that in the beginning somewhere. But I mean, if you miss the warning, this is a spoiler episode.
Did you want to know anything about the book? Are you gonna go back and read the book?
No, I won't read the book. I'm just gonna watch the shows.
Okay, so season 2, they have like Edwina and Kate like fighting over Anthony or whatever. Mm-hmm. In the book, they're not pitted against each other. Like, it was never a thing that, like, Kate was like, stealing Anthony from Edwina.
So what is Edwina and Kate and Anthony's triangle, then, in the book?
So, Anthony was, like, interested in Edwina because Edwina was, like, the beautiful one, like, the one that was, like, the catch of the season, or the diamond, or whatever. And Kate was like, no, like, that's not gonna happen. So, she was, like, trying to keep him away. He never got to the point where, like, he was, like, at the altar with Edwina. And it, like... There was moments in the book where it was like Anthony was trying to like court Edwina, and Edwina would just like roll her eyes and be like, maybe you should go talk to my sister. Like, she knew like they had more chemistry.
Oh, so it was more blatant. It wasn't like a
stab in the back or anything. And even like their mom and like Violet, the Bridgerton mom, knew like, oh, like they're gonna be like
She knew what was up.
Yeah, and they were, like, trying to, like, get them together to, like, focus them on each other instead of, like, other people.
So it was more of, like, I just don't want to be with you, not a I cannot be with you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really sweet, though, the way they did it in the book. I really like the book better. 10 out of 10 on the book. The show, I thought when I watched the show, I was like, oh, this is really good. But after reading the book, I'm like, oh, that drama was so unnecessary, and I enjoyed it so much more without
I think the whole point... Oh, so much dog hair on me. I think the whole point of that drama in the series, though, is because...
trying to drum it up.
Yeah, I mean, it is a show.
Well, we don't want that. I mean, like, I guess, like, they think the viewers want the drama or whatever, but, like, it's, like, I feel like the audience for that specific show would like the way that the book was better than...
Well, as someone who hasn't read the books, I think it was done well in the way that I think they played to not want to make it exactly like the books. And they were okay with that. They're like, this one's not like the books, but that's okay. And we're gonna make it just what everyone else wants to see, sort of thing.
I guess so.
I mean, I think it was
hindsight is 20/20 with it. Since I read the book, I like the book a lot more. I enjoyed it.
I think we all knew, though, watching it was predictable in that way. Season 2 is very predictable. Honestly, even season 3 is like, because we know already.
Let him inside. I'll let him inside. Keep going. You know already.
We know already what's going to happen. So the idea of having the two, and their arc go the way that it was like, I knew what was happening, and I wasn't surprised in any way, whereas season 1, I was like, as a viewer, I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, that's interesting. Oh, why doesn't he want to marry her? So there was a lot of questions in that for me as a viewer, but when I'm watching the 2nd and 3rd season, I'm just like, I already know. They're gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. This dog in this house is creating absolute ruckus. Never film a podcast with a border collie in the room. It's difficult, but it's okay.
Should we get off of Bridgerton?
Maybe we should get off of Bridgerton. I mean, that's something that I have been currently obsessed with. I put it in my calendar when the second part of the season comes out.
You are legit.
I really loved the first season, and the second season was really good too. But I'm like a faithful watcher, if that makes sense. And I just don't want to miss it. However, I will say, before we get off of that topic, I didn't like how they split up the seasons.
Oh, no. You know why they did that, right?
To drum up more excitement about it? Why?
1 second. Let me come over there. I am fully convinced Netflix split up season 3 for profit. To keep people subscribed for at least 2 months, because they can't binge watch it in 1 month.
I
one
see.
sitting. So
that's very tactical.
They have to stay subscribed, which is like fine. But if you're gonna do it that way, then do it so they drop an episode like every 2 weeks or something. Mm-hmm. Not just like, I don't know. Maybe they just want it so people have something to talk about and hold them over for a month. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably more than that. More than just one thing. It's probably both, if not more. Strategic moves that Netflix made.
I hate it. Losing my mind. I just want to know what they're gonna do. Since I read the book, like, I'm not on pins and needles about like how is this gonna resolve or whatever, but I still like the actors in the show are so good for their parts. They did such a great job casting. So like I just want to see it like play out on the screen. That's my main like thing, I guess.
I see.
Yeah, okay, so that's Bridgerton. Sorry. Sorry.
So, I have a part in our note here that asks about your favorite book.
Okay.
We've already moved on from Bridgerton, but I also know that's not your favorite book.
It's not.
Do you have a favorite series, favorite book, favorite author?
I mean, like, depending on the genre. Do you want me to do, like, an overall, like, what my favorite book is overall right now?
Yeah.
Crescent City.
Crescent City.
House of Earth and Blood. 10 out of 10. I never reread books. I want to reread that book. It's so good.
Really?
Yes.
What's it? I mean, it's not spoilers. But...
Okay. True crime meets fantasy. Modern fantasy.
I love a good true crime.
Lots of people, when they think fantasy, they think like old-timey Lord of the Rings. It's not that. It's like sci-fi, modern fantasy, true crime with a true crime like undertone. It's so good.
I love true crime. I guess that's something that I've been obsessed with, though. True crime.
Forever. I got you into that.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been watching a lot of like Netflix things, and like I'm subscribed to so many streaming platforms at this point. Like, I just watch all. Did you know? Oh my gosh, this is news to me. Detective Joe Kinda has a new episode out.
No, I was gonna Google it right now. Is it a Detective Joe Kinda?
Yes, it's a Detective. I took a picture on my phone.
You binge watched his stuff, huh?
Me and Brandon, we binge watched it together.
Brandon is her significant other.
I took a photo and I was like, we're watching this. And it's only one episode. It came out.
Homicide Hunter, American Detective. And it just came out today. Yesterday.
Yeah, and it says new. And I was like,
on
my
Discovery
bad.
Plus?
It is, I'm pretty sure it's Discovery Plus.
Look at his face. Look at that. Look at that face.
I mean, no one...
Serving detective right
Our
there.
listeners can't see his face, but if you know who Detective Joe Kinda is, I applaud you. That man is... He's who I want to be when I grow up.
I'm gonna find him.
What? My.
Aren't you interested?
Yeah.
Watch it. If you're a true crime fan, I think it's because you like old people too. Honestly, you love, like, you root for old people all the time.
Like, he's just so kind. It's like all you just want to make sure he does good for the people.
Just solve the case, Lieutenant Joe.
I mean, honestly,
this is your Matlock.
Honestly, though, like, I have a hard time watching true crime stuff if there's no solution, because it'll keep me up at night. But I loved that show so much because it was entertaining. It covered all of the bases that you wanted. It kept you on your toes a little bit. It wasn't scary to where you're gonna have nightmares, but it was like interesting enough to be like keeping you on the edge of your seat almost. And it's an easy watch.
I used to only like things that had solutions, but listening to like podcasts, like true crime podcasts, has helped me like come to terms with, like, it's not always gonna have a solution, but like also it's like I want to be able to follow up on cases, so that's what podcasts have helped on. True Crime Garage, if you're listening to this, you should listen to True Crime Garage podcast.
Why do you keep self-plugging? No,
it's not self. This is a different podcast. I love their podcast.
You are plugging everyone.
Because I just want to share the love.
Okay, well, go watch Detective Joe Kunda.
The love. Isn't that a song?
I'm pretty sure it is. I couldn't tell you what's... Okay. I just opened my phone and I saw this. Detective Joe Kinda. I should put that as my wallpaper.
Anyways, no. I guess, have you watched The Jinx?
The Jinx?
It's on HBO Max. There's 2 parts. One was filmed like a couple years ago, and then the second one is like a follow-up to it. Really good. 6 episodes each part. Watch it. You'll like it.
The Jinx. What is it on?
HBO Max.
Can I have your login later?
No.
That's illegal.
I do not share logins with anybody.
Oh my goodness, I can't.
Okay, anyways, so we're all over the place. Back to the book. Crescent City, you can actually I have 2 copies there. Because Target sent me one and it was destroyed, so I just, not destroyed, but like you can see it's like ripped on the cover. So I had to go out and get one that was not ripped. Anyways, the reason why I really like it is because if you're a Sarah J. Maas fan, or even like Rebecca Yarros for Fourth Wing, their fantasy books, like the female main characters, they're, for the most part, they're like teens or like young 20s. So they all have a little bit of that like immature mentality, and so you have to kind of give them like that grace, like, oh, like they're being stupid, but they're young, you know. In Crescent City, the main character Bryce, she's like maybe your age, and so like she acts her age too. So like
I don't.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Bryce Quinlan.
I don't act my age.
Bryce acts her age. She's so sarcastic and dry humor, and like it's more adult, and not adult in the way that like spicy. I mean, there's spice in the book, but it's not like, they just act more relatable for me. Like, I'm not thinking like, oh, it's a stupid high schooler. Like, just kidding. I love high schoolers, by the way. If you're listening, high schoolers, I love you. But they act more like, this is somebody that was like, oh, I could picture myself like being friends with this person.
So it's like, it's, I guess, more personable to you.
Yeah.
I see.
But I love all of SJM's writing. I love Fourth Wing. But right now, if I had to say what my favorite book is, it would be Crescent City. Get through the first 5 chapters and you're going to be hooked, especially if you like true crime. Sorry.
You can't see what we're doing, so
well, next week maybe.
The one that you got me hooked on before, and you're gonna get so upset with me, but I haven't finished Fourth Wing yet because I just haven't really taken the time to finish the audiobook version of it. But
that one's spicy.
I loved Fourth Wing, but then everyone says it's gonna ruin you, and I think I got scared, and I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, they say that because Fourth Wing is very action heavy. Mm-hmm. So if you go back and you read a different fantasy book, it's gonna be much slower paced because they're building a whole world and like characters and introducing you to characters. Whereas Fourth Wing, the one thing that Rebecca Yarros did amazing was like she just like threw you into the action right away. Like there was no world building, or when she did do it, it was very organic. So like you didn't even know that she was world building when she was doing it. So when they say it's gonna ruin you, it's like it makes it harder for you to get into different fantasy books because of the pace.
I see.
Yeah, but it's not gonna ruin you. Like I enjoyed the other books. I read Crescent City after Fourth Wing.
Would you ever write or consider writing your own book?
No.
Or have you ever thought of like, oh, this would be a good like book
No.
thing? Ever?
Ever.
Why is that?
Because I just want to consume. I don't want to have to put in the work. I just want to be entertained. I don't have to work to be entertained.
I've definitely thought of like, and this is maybe like a late high school, like early college time for me, but like I definitely like sat down and tried to write like a chapter of a book. In my head I'm like, wow, this is so cool. It makes so much sense. And then I thought about it later and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is just a ripoff of this movie that I saw with this one thing.
I read a book in middle school. I forget. I think it was called Madison Finn. I was obsessed with those books, and she was like she had like an online diary, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a blogger. And
Wait
like,
a
blog
second.
like her, and like, yeah, I tried to do like a blog like she did.
I feel like I read a similar book. If not, I don't think it was the same one, but she was like keeping her diary, and there was like graphics inside of the book that looked like IMs almost, or emails.
Yeah. Well, because she had like a pen pal, like online pen pal. Very millennial. It was a very millennial book. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Pen pals, huh? Is that gonna be a thing for our...
Okay, so that's books. Do you have any books that you're into right now?
I have a favorite book, but it's not one that I have read recently, but it's one that I consistently go back to.
You reread it?
I reread it. I re-listen to it. I bought the entire series, and I've told you to read it before, and I don't think you've ever gotten to it.
The Red Queen?
The Red Queen. It's one that it is a little bit for more younger audiences, so it's not like it's not very like high on spice or high on anything else. It's just very Hunger Games-esque, if that makes sense. So, like, that age group, that demographic is definitely...
I think I've moved on from that demographic, that's why.
I started reading it when I was in college. That was years ago, so, like, it was more my pace at the time. I even remember starting the book, and then, like, the physical book.
Okay.
And then I was like, I'm bored. And I didn't like what was happening in the story at the time.
Yeah.
And then I, like, put it down, never picked it back up again. And then I listened to it as an audiobook. And I was like, wow, this is kind of amazing.
Was it just a person reading it, or was it like a graphic audio where they had like background noises and stuff?
No, I don't think there was background noises. It was just a narrator, but she would change her voice for each character.
Oh yeah, I've listened to audiobooks.
So it was more interactive in that way. But there wasn't like sound effects.
But, okay, so it's just an audiobook.
At the time of my life, I was also traveling to and from where I live now, which is like hours from here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I would spend my time in the car listening to the audiobook, and I remember pulling up to these places where when I would arrive there, and I was like, I don't want to get out of the car yet because I'm in a really good place. And then I ended up finishing the entire series. I remember being so peeved because one of the audiobooks sounded like a little bit different. Like the EQ was like just barely different.
Audiophiles unite.
I know. I was like, why does it sound like that? But, I mean, it was still a good listen. It was still a good read. I bought the whole thing, so.
I thought it was so good. Anyways.
Red Queen, everyone.
I think you're going to like the Throne of Glass series. It's more it starts out more YA, but it's fantasy.
I'll have to take a read. A read.
Thomas listened
I need to finish Fourth Wing.
Oh, well, I mean, you could always go back. Since you paused it, I would go back and start from the beginning.
Yeah, I might do the audio.
Thomas, my husband, read the whole Throne of Glass series and enjoyed it. So, I don't know if that adds to anybody's thoughts. it's a good transition from YA to adult because Sarah started writing it when she was 16. Mm-hmm. So it was very YA the first maybe 2 or 3 books.
I see. Well, I mean, this topic of books, this topic of shows, like, is something we definitely want to jump into further down the line.
She's like, and enough of that.
No.
Let's move on.
I mean, we have to. I don't even know how long we've been...
Okay, let's go on.
I don't know how long
Next. Yes. say hello to your ex. I don't know.
What? What is that? I have no idea.
It was supposed to be Ariana Grande.
No, thank you. Next. That one.
Oh, I don't know.
Thank you. Next.
What is that one? Na 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 na.
What?
Her most recent single.
Ariana Grande?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and. Na 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 na. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, there's things that we could go into depth about, and I mean, briefly, I guess this episode is a brief overview, and maybe scratching the surface of a lot of topics that we really enjoy, which is...
We could literally go on forever.
We really could. We could talk about true crime, we could talk about books and shows and music. And
Taylor Swift.
Take a drink. Everyone can be so hydrated if they're listening to this. But we have so much more to talk about. There's more than just those basic things that we enjoy. I mean, both my sister and I do work in the marketing field, and we really like to design and figure stuff out in that way. So hopefully that's something that we can dive into a little bit in the future.
And when she says marketing, my sister right now, she does more traditional marketing for... I don't know if you can say.
I mean, automotive
marketing. I do more influencer marketing, but it's not even really marketing for me anymore. It's more like project management, but
I mean, you cover
social
everything,
media stuff.
Yeah.
We can get into that in a later episode.
Yes, and of course, in addition to all the things that we talked about, I do love food, and I could talk about food all of the time, but
Let's enter the Jasmine food section.
No, I mean, we don't
Rice and water.
We don't have to get into that right now.
Okay.
But that's definitely something, and I hope that anyone who's listening is excited to hear in our future episodes.
One of these days we gotta do, like, I don't know, like a taste test or, like, reaction to, like, people's suggestions.
I would love to do that.
I'm so down for that.
Anyways.
Sorry. Yes.
And well, I don't even know if we have much to talk about. I'm scared to talk about more because I don't want to do too much in our first episode.
Well, let's just call it here then.
I think that might be a good idea.
If you have any suggestions or topics you'd like us to talk about and give our 2 cents on, shoot, we don't have an email address, so we'll get back to you on that.
Stay tuned for episode 2, where we talk about something a little bit more interesting and give some more information on us. Follow our future Instagram account
at beep. I don't know.
But I hope you guys have listened or enjoyed listening to all of our banter and our random topics. And I hope you look forward to listening to more.
Are we editing this?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've listened this far, thanks for listening.
10 points to you if you've gotten this far.
Thanks for hanging around. And we'll have more information next time, maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I hope you guys have enjoyed listening. And we'll see you guys. Well, I guess you'll hear us. How do podcasters sign up?
Subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe to my channel.
Follow us on... Oh, is it follow? Is it a follow?
It's follow and subscribe.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts
and
Spotify, if we get it set up.
And leave a review. Let us know what you guys think.
Why not leave a review? Just tell us how bad we are.
And for our future social media, you can always reach out and tell us something that you want us to talk about, or if you have any questions or dares.
No. Not doing
for us to do.
We are not accepting dares at this time.
That sounded like a disclaimer.
We're not. Okay. This has been
The Sis Batch with
Bevin
and Jasmine.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Next